So, hello. How are
Hi.
you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for coming to interview with us.
Thanks for meeting me at the park.
Right? Beautiful here.
Isn't it
Cloudy
gorgeous?
day.
I like the clouds. I think they're fun.
Yeah. Do you like the rain?
I do,
Yeah.
which is probably a good thing because I live in Washington.
Right.
So,
So, why don't we get started, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
well, I'm 22, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I sing country, rock, grunge music. Whatever that is, we're kind of calling it crunge.
Right.
So it's just kind of
Make it your
basically,
own.
yeah, whatever I want to play is basically what we do. So that's pretty fun. Basically, I describe myself as I have two parts. I am Morticia Adams,
Okay.
but also Shirley Temple, who
Okay.
likes to ride horses.
Right. That's a great analogy. I love it. What got you into singing? Like, how did that path come?
So my godmother, she was a singer, and so growing up, my mom was kind of her bodyguard and would go with her to all the shows. And so as like a little kid, I would go with them to the shows.
Yeah.
And I'd just be dancing and having a blast. And we recorded just like a little CD in their music room at their house, and it was like one song that I did and one song that my sister did, and then we did one, my sister and I did one together. And so I just kind of grew up around it and loved doing that.
Awesome. When did you start getting into like playing an instrument? Did that come later, or was the singing first?
I'm still kind of getting into that.
Really?
Yes. I can play like probably 6 chords on a guitar. So I'm not very good at it, but I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, but getting better all the time.
Yeah.
Making my lead guitar player try to teach me.
Yeah.
So I can play probably 2 of my songs right now acoustic, and then I can play one of them, the rhythm part, on electric guitar. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Is it you've taught yourself, or is he just teaching you, or is it lessons?
Well, my dad plays guitar, and then so he kind of taught me a little bit, and
Yeah.
then Ilya has been helping me with some things, which is good. But I kind of decided at one point that I would rather have long nails than play guitar. So
Oh man.
I go through
amazing.
spurts of having long nails and then having short nails and playing guitar and then having long nails.
That's always the dilemma I find.
Right?
How do you get into like the creative mode, like writing songs and lyrics, and what comes first, the music or the lyrics?
So I basically write the lyrics and the melodies for the songs, and then I sit down with my guitar player and my band, and we will sit there and get to the music side of this.
Yeah.
So usually to get into the creative process, sometimes I take a shower, go for a drive. One time I was playing ping pong with myself.
Wow.
Listening
won?
to other exactly, not me. I'm horrible at ping pong, but I mean, so I was trying to kind of do different things. Sometimes I listen to other people's music to kind of get me in that creative mode.
What do you find is easy or difficult about it? Like,
About songwriting,
yeah.
Easy would probably be maybe nothing. It's hard. It really is.
Yeah.
It's hard unless you have the encouragement from other people, because you don't really know what is good and what will be perceived well.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because you're putting like every piece of you on the line, and when you write a really deep song, you worry about what people are gonna
Yeah.
think, but you know that there's somebody else out there who shares that same feeling.
Yeah.
So that makes you want to put it out there more. So I guess the easy part would be the fact that you know that what you're writing is going to speak to somebody, and the hard part is how many people.
Yeah, right.
One person, but you got to sing to that one person.
Yeah. Do you find that it's easier, like something like, what inspires you about it? Like something that is like deep in you that day, or do you just have to be in the moment?
I kind of just have to be in the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes so my newest single, Frisky, took me 3 years to write. I started writing it 3 years ago, had an idea, had a couple different melody options, and none of them were very good, so I kept putting it on the back burner and coming back to it. And 3 years later, I had kind of something that I wanted, and I had this just a little ditty in my mind where I was like, frisk me, I'm frisky. And I was like, that would be so hilarious, I guess. I was kind of more making fun of myself.
Yeah.
And I still can't even sing that song with a straight face because I make fun of myself the whole time.
That makes it kind of fun on stage.
It does. It does. Like I'll be like, frisk me, I'm frisky, and then I turn around and I'm like laughing to myself.
Do you guys practice often, or do you practice on your own, or how does that work?
So we practice once a week together if we have upcoming shows. And I practice every day. So I warm up and cool down my voice every single day. And then most of my band members also teach other kids lessons. And so they're practicing on their own and really just fine-tuning their craft all the time. Playing in other bands and, doing that. So
do you get to do this as your job, or is this something that you have a backup job to help fund it, or?
So I was a nanny for a while on top of this, but this is my sole job that I do right now. I do teach horseback riding lessons, but that's more for fun. Yeah. And it's on Mondays, so it doesn't interfere with the, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the shows.
Yeah, right. What's your ritual before you go on stage? Do you guys have a ritual, or is there something you do before?
Usually I pretend to fire them all. No, I'm kidding.
And then they all freak out.
Right, exactly. And then we don't even have a show. No, I don't know. Normally I eat, depending on where we're at, they feed us. I'm eat their food, and then we drink beer, and then we just hang out and chat. It's just, my band and I they're such a good group of guys, and I love hanging out with them. And it's just kind of, when we get together, it's a bunch of friends getting together to play music that we all are really invested in.
Yeah, right. How did you meet your band?
A couple of them were from Craigslist.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are off Facebook.
Okay.
And then one of them, who plays bass for me now but is actually a guitar player, Dylan, he was there helping me write It's My Truck way back in 2015. Yeah. So I've known him for a really long time.
Social media, do you think that has helped or hindered you?
I mean, I have to put makeup on, so in some ways I think it's helped.
Yeah.
In other ways, I definitely think that it's hard to know what to put on social media, and then there's always the pressure of, will this get enough likes, and how many people are seeing this, and all that stuff. So, and because I do most of my own social media, it's all on me, and I'm like, oh, whoops, it's been 2 months, I should probably post something.
Right. Keep relevant.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe in all the videos, I'm super awkward. So I'll be taking a video and I'll just be like, hey, I don't know what to say.
Right. For that element of having fans and people being able to constantly, criticize or scrutinize or anything, how do you take that? And
I mean,
is it something
I kind of just have to let it go. Everybody has their own opinion, and I'm making music that, like I said before, it's kind of whatever I want it to be. And if you like it, that's great. But if you don't, you don't, and that's fine.
Have a thick skin now?
Not really.
No.
I'm a very sensitive person, but okay. I do my best to try not to let it affect me. I have lots of animals. They help.
There you go.
I just keep collecting more. My cat just had kittens, so I have tiny little kittens in my house.
Gosh.
So every time I'm sad, I'm just like, it's a kitten. You love me. It's fine.
You're going to be the crazy cat lady one day. Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Really?
I told my boyfriend if he dies, I'm buying all of the dogs. So I'm just going to keep getting animals.
All the time.
Yeah, I need company.
Right? Responding to people. How do you respond to, on social, if they're, they say a comment, are you more inclined to respond to everybody that posts something, or is it
I try to respond. I try to respond to everybody, but the ones that I think are the best and easiest to respond to are, so when I respond to comments and DMs and stuff like that, I'm more inclined to respond to the ones I think are humorous. Most of the time people will be like, hey, and then I'm like, okay, how do I
respond to this. Yeah.
Think I'm just not gonna until I come up with something kind of smart assy to say.
Yeah,
So,
right.
but the people that comment, like one guy, he goes, "How tall is she?" And I was like, "Is who?" And he's like,
Right.
"The girl in the photo." I was like, "Me? I'm 5'4". Like,
Right.
I love to just mess with people like that.
Kind of have a snarky kind of nature.
Yeah, because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm
you
just
gotta
here to
humor
have
yourself
I'm
somehow.
just here to have fun.
Right.
So
Do you have any crazy stories from fans? Like anything?
yeah, my favorite, like, so I started getting recognized more and more now when I go out places. Like, I got recognized in an Olive Garden, really weird.
Wow.
Um,
That's when you know you're good.
right?
Like,
When you go
made
to
it.
an Olive Garden and you're like, oh, okay. Your server's like, oh my gosh, aren't you Megs McLean? I'm like, do I look okay today? Yes, I am Megs McLean. If not, no. Right? But the best story ever of being recognized by somebody was I was at a concert at the Monroe Fairgrounds,
Wow.
just watching it with my boyfriend and his family. And I went to go get a drink. And I walk by this police officer and he goes, "Excuse me, miss, are you drunk? And I was like, completely oblivious. I'm like, no, I haven't. This is like the first thing I've had to drink. And he's like, calm down. He's like, Megs. I'm like, oh, drink, drunk, because that's my song. Got it. Yep, that's me. Glad one of us knows.
That's awesome.
I was so embarrassed.
I would have been too, I think. I've been like, thanks for recognizing me.
Well, at first I thought I was in trouble. I was
Yeah,
like, I am
I
definitely
would've
old
too.
enough to be carrying this alcohol. Like,
Yeah. It's unexpected, an unexpected place.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I got recognized twice at that concert too. These two ladies were like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh, hi.
Are you the type to like stop and engage
Yeah.
and like sign things and
Oh, yeah.
take pictures and stuff?
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
If you get more and more famous, are you still going to be inclined to do that?
I would hope so, because
Yeah.
I think that I love talking to people, and every single person that I create a connection with is a stronger fan and a stronger supporter. And I think that is so important to get to know everybody and to take the time to do that. And I hope that I will never get too busy to spend time with my fans.
What's your favorite venue that you've played at?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably my favorite venue would probably have to be, well, I played Festival of the River this year. It opened for Lee Bryce and Thompson Square and those guys, and there was a bunch of other amazing bands there. And I think that was probably one of my favorite venues to play. It was so much fun. But I think another favorite would be the Tulalip Amphitheater outside.
Yeah.
I love playing
great
there.
theater.
Everybody is so nice, and they all come up and talk to you afterward, and they're so engaged in what's going on, and they hoop and they holler with you while you're on stage. And I think for me, it's not the size of the venue, it's the energy in the crowd that makes a show really
feed
good.
off of it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Do
I
you like when they sing back to you?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Or when they just are like, woo, and then I'm like, woo. Who's yelling at me? Like, I love that, because without it, I have to create my own energy, and then I'm
Right.
so much more exhausted afterward. Whereas if there's energy coming, then I'm just on a high, because we're all feeding off each other's energies, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
That's. What about like a dream venue? Where would you want to play if you could play anywhere? Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world? Ooh. Would it be weird to just like go play at a zoo?
No.
Because I would really like that. Maybe with some giraffes.
As much as
Eating
you love
things
animals,
out of my
I don't
hand.
think that's weird. Eating out of your hand.
Yeah, like I want to feed them while I'm singing. Just have a giraffe.
You know
eating
they
out of-
have concerts at the Woodland Park Zoo, right?
They do?
They do. It's called Zoo Tunes.
What?
Yeah.
I want to do that.
You should look it up.
See?
During the summer.
Goals. I have very small goals. My goals. Just feed a giraffe. Those are my goals.
I mean, that's a pretty big goal. How many people could say they fed a giraffe while they were singing on stage?
Right? Have you
don't know
seen that
any.
thing though where there's like this cafe, I guess, and like you pay a bunch of like a buttload of money, and you sit in this cafe, and the giraffes peek their heads through the windows and eat food off your
I think
plate.
it's in Africa.
Yeah,
right?
I want to go there.
Yes.
I want to do that.
Ellen did that, I think.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it was Ellen who posted that she had done that. And I was like, that has to happen.
Right?
Like, that is something that
Isn't that the coolest thing? I'm like,
maybe you could play there.
right? I'll just
And then they'll
sing
just-
in the corner.
Yeah.
And the giraffes will lick
Come
things.
inside, yeah.
It'll be great.
That'll be amazing. Are giraffes your like second favorite animal? I feel like a horse is probably number one. But
I don't know. I would say I have like no specific favorite animal, except for I did grow up with lots of pet rats, and I think that they're adorable. Did you really?
did,
It's such a, like a weird thing. Like people freak out all the time, and I'm like, they were actually super nice. They were great pets, especially because I could get them and they were cheap. And my parents would be like, "No, you can't have a puppy. Here's a rat." And I'd be like,
what happened to me
"Sure."
too. I had two, and they were amazing, and
Yeah.
until they,
Yeah. Eventually.
yeah,
We all do.
they don't live long enough.
No, like 3 years. And that's why my parents were like, "It's fine. If she doesn't even take care of him, it's just a rat anyway."
All right. Do you have any collaborations that you'd like to do? Like anybody that you want to play with?
Yeah, Brantley Gilbert or Miranda Lambert would be my
Miranda
two
Lambert.
favorite, like,
Yeah.
perfect. I think match-wise, I think they'd be perfect. Just because Brantley Gilbert kind of has that, like, bad boy vibe.
Yeah.
And I guess, apparently, I have a bad girl vibe, which I think that's just, like, my Morticia side is coming
Yeah.
out. People are like, "Oh, she's morbid. It's fine."
Right.
How can you be that dark and have blonde hair? Here I am.
Yes. I defy the odds.
Exactly. And then, of course, Miranda Lambert's just a badass,
Yeah.
and so I think it would work out really well.
I when I first saw you, she was the first person that came in my mind. Like I was like,
You were
she's
like,
so
"What?"
Miranda Lambert. Like it's just right on that.
I love
same
that.
Extreme.
I love that.
I love her too. She's you guys have that very like strong girl power.
Yeah,
like,
girl
vibe,
power.
You know? Yeah. You do barrel riding.
Barrel
is that
racing.
that's what it's called. Right?
Barrel racing,
Right.
yeah. Or we do
I
pattern
was
horse
totally
racing
looking up how
too.
to say it.
You're fine. No, yeah, I do that.
Yeah. How do you juggle doing that and music and like?
It's very difficult. Basically, I have shows scheduled, and then I'll get a schedule from the group, I guess, that's putting on the horse shows. Mm-hmm. And so we do pattern horse racing, which is different events like barrel racing. Okay. Barrels is one of the patterns that you can do. Whereas specific barrel racing is like in rodeos, they have barrel racing and stuff like that. But they do have special barrel races. You can do pattern horse racing, or we call it gaming. And that it's just a bunch of speed events. Okay. And then you can also do barrel racing, or you can do it all together.
Yeah.
So
do you have one that's like one that you specifically do, or do you do all of them?
I do all of them.
You do all of them? Okay. Does this take, I imagine it takes lots of practice and a lot of
and I'm riding
connection with the horse.
Yes. So my barrel racing horse because I rodeoed in college, so I did barrel racing in college. Wasn't very good at it, but never came in last, so that's good.
Hey.
So my barrel horse, she's 15, and I've had her for 4 years. Okay. And when I first got her, I'm pretty sure she kept trying to kill me. And people were like, "Oh, she's just really crazy." And now she takes such good care of me. If I get off balance at all, she will get back underneath me. She will take care of me. And then the other horse that I have is a 3-year-old wild Mustang that I'm training to do the pattern horse racing side of things. So Brave, my barrel horse, just does barrels. And then I got into another horse for doing the gaming.
Awesome. Is there one that you like more than the games that you like more than the other?
I mean, there's a bunch of different really cool events. One of my favorites is called One Jump Scurry, and you like go over a jump and around some things, and then you go back over the jump. And I think that's pretty fun because we don't get to jump a lot in Western horseback riding. You can do like Western jumping or some trail jumping stuff, but most of the jumping is done in English.
How did you get into that? Like, what made you?
Well, ever since I was like a little girl, I loved horses and I wanted horses, and my family was never really set up to have horses. I mean, we grew up in a neighborhood, and we just never really had that. So my mom every year would send me to horse camp up in Mount Vernon. I was just, a little tot, and I'd just go to horse camp and sit on a pony, and they would teach you how to ride for a week. And then, you cry, you go home, and then next year, horse camp, and you go for a week again. And do that. And so I basically had horseback riding lessons once a year for a week, which isn't a lot. So I never really got into it until I got older. Probably like when I graduated high school or close to then, I winter leased a horse from the place that I took lessons from. Mm-hmm. And then I brought that horse back and was like, oh, I'll just teach it to do some gaming, the pattern horse racing thing. I was like, I'll just teach you to do some of that. And then I was like, this is really fun. Maybe I should do some barrel racing. That would be really cool, but she's not fast enough, so I would need a faster horse. And then I was like, this college that I got accepted to has a rodeo team. That's cool. I'm going to try to get on that. Yeah. Not having I could ride, but I was never very good at it. I mean, I'm a quick learner, but I would have considered myself still a beginner rider. Yeah. So I took a couple lessons here and then at home, and then bought a horse without even running her on barrels because I was like, she's crazy. This is the horse. Like, we were all like, yeah, she's great. She's a great barrel horse. Once you get to her level, you guys will do well. But I was not there yet. So I rode a bunch of other people's horses for a while that were kind of slower and easier to ride until I worked my way up, and finally they were like, okay, you're ready. Let's take her to a couple barrel races. And I was like, yes. So I got to race her, and then I went to Montana, and I stayed with a woman who breeds barrel racing and roping horses and stuff like that. So I stayed with her, and she goes, well, the only thing you have is a good seat. Everything else sucks. I was like, cool. She goes, but I'll help you. And I was like, okay. So she helped me. Then I made the rodeo team. Like I said, was never really super good at it, but never came in last. Yeah. And now I do gaming. My boyfriend's whole family does that, so it's kind of like a family thing now that we're doing. And we pick what series we're going to do, and I try to schedule around it. I miss a couple here and there because of shows, or I miss, but I can't miss shows because nobody else can be Megs. So.
Yeah, right. It's kind of hard. Find it's easier to do the stage and be with people and sing in front of people, or is it easier to do?
It's different. I wouldn't say one is easier than the other, because when I'm doing the horseback riding stuff, I'm not, like Megs. Yeah. Right? So I get to kind of relax a little bit. That doesn't mean that people don't still recognize me, and I don't still have to, be on my best behavior, but what is that? I don't know. But I mean, I would say that they're both equally difficult, both equally have their challenges, and I mean, one of them is like, a hobby, and one of them is a passion and a career. Yeah. So I mean, I'd say that they're pretty in separate categories.
Yeah, for sure. How do you juggle being a musician and with that sort of lifestyle and life? Like, just trying to...
You don't.
Be
it all just intertwines into itself. Like I said, I went out last night after a wedding, and it was the first time I'd been in a bar and not been performing. And I didn't really know what to do with myself. Yeah. And drank a little bit. Yeah. I was like, this is strange. Yeah. Especially when there's other live bands. It's very awkward. I don't know how to... Like, I love going to watch live bands, but it's weird because I feel like that's where I should be. Yeah. Because that's what I do. So it's weird to be in the... On the outside of it. Yeah, in the audience.
Yeah, that, I could see how that... Your significant other, do you find it's easier to have him there and supporting you? Is that something that, like, really helps you be able to keep, like, going and keeping that strength and keeping that energy?
He drives, so yes. He's my chauffeur. No, he's so supportive, and he's amazing, and he does a really good job of letting me handle things on my own, because when you are in a bar and there's guys, and and I have to talk to people, and a lot of people ask him, they're like, how do you deal with that? Don't you get jealous or possessive? And he's like, no, because she has to. Like, she needs to talk to people and make those connections, and it's not my place to say what she can, or
Yeah.
he's not going to tell me, don't talk to those people who are like, oh my god, Megs, how are you? And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
he's just gonna, he sits in the back, he hangs out, he watches. If something goes wrong, I mean, he does know sound, he does know lighting, so he can kind of help with that.
Yeah.
He taught himself how to do all of that so that he could be more helpful.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just the sweetest thing ever. I love having him there. He gives me some more energy too, because it's fun.
Yeah.
Plus, I like to tease him and maybe bring him up on stage.
I saw maybe once that he sang with you. Is he a singer as well?
He's not. He works on cars. He's a
Okay.
automotive technician, but he has a really good voice. And one time I heard him singing in the car, and I was like, "Oh, hello." So on the long nights, or when his family's there,
Yeah.
I'll bring him up on stage, and he'll do like a song or two.
Yeah. How long have you guys been together?
It'll be 2 years this month on the 22nd.
Wow, that's
Yes.
really awesome. So he's been there kind of in the midst of you kind of really coming out and breaking out.
Yeah, this last year was crazy, and yeah, he's been there through all of that stuff.
That's awesome. Do you find that you write songs about him? Like,
I try,
Yeah.
but I'm better at writing angry songs than happy songs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. When he pisses me off, I'll let you know.
I can't wait to hear that one.
Normally, I just come up with a song and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, or no, that sounds more like something Adele would sing. And then
Yeah.
I just put it on the back burner, and then we try to see if later on we can make it more my style. And
Yeah.
I mean, we try to add some cool things. So when we go into the studio and we're doing the final recording, we'll add a couple things, and we always, Jeff Ott and I will sit down and we'll listen to some songs that are, around the same genre and same type as us, and be like, we like what they did here. Maybe we could kind of fit into that style, and the people really like to hear this. So like the big drum beat.
Yeah.
Or more open drum beat. Like Frisky has a really intricate, super cool drum beat.
Yeah.
And so we kind of were like, that's in right now, is having an intricate,
Yeah.
interesting drum beat. There's a dog.
There is.
Hi, puppy.
It's even a beagle.
So cute.
Did you have a first job, or was it something that like you haven't had just yet? Or
Yeah.
Is this like it?
I did have a first job. So where at the horse camp that I took lessons from,
Yeah.
as I got older, I actually got a job there and taught kids summer camp.
Yay.
So I would,
Full circle.
yeah,
there.
right?
Look at you.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my first job ever, which is kind of why I like doing a little bit of that now.
Yeah. If you weren't a musician, what would you think you would be doing? If you weren't performing, what do you think you would be doing?
Crying? No. Probably, I don't know. I've never really, I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was younger, but that's a lot of schooling,
Yeah.
and I don't like school.
Yeah. Right. It's a good
So
like 10 years.
Maybe I will be maybe an author. It
Okay.
would be something creative.
Yeah.
I have that kind of creative bug.
Do you write like stories and things?
I used to. I was writing a 9-book series in middle school that I
Wow.
never finished because it got very out of hand and
Yeah.
very like scatterbrained.
Yeah.
But I tried.
That's awesome. Do you think you'll ever finish it?
Maybe. I got in trouble for writing really dark stories. And they were like super dark, and I think one time I scared my grandpa so bad because I was like, "Do you want to read the short story that I wrote?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And so he's reading it and he gets done, and I was like, "What do you think?" And he's like, your writing is awesome." And then he calls my mom and is like, "Do you know what your daughter is writing about?"
What?
And she's like, "Yeah." And she was like, "It's really good, isn't it?" He's like, "It's very dark."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yep." That's what she writes
That's
about.
my kid.
Yeah. I always, because I like that like sci-fi fantasy kind of
Yeah.
thing. I'm so nerdy sometimes. Like,
That's awesome. What's your like favorite book? Do you like to read?
oh, I used to read a lot more. I don't really have too much time to read anymore, but I was obsessed with the Maximum Ride series. Anything by James Patterson. I think he is so scary, and I love that. But the Maximum Ride series about kids that have wings, and I think that's so cool. So I was super into that. That's and then they made a movie, and I was disappointed.
Oh, that's how it always happens. I've had that several times. Right?
Yeah.
They've made my favorite books into movies, and you're like, really?
Yeah, why
missed
did
out
they
the
do
good part.
Yeah.
Almost my favorite is Nicholas Sparks, and he almost every one of his books is turned into a movie, but some have like nailed it on the head. Yeah. And others you're just like, ooh. Maybe not.
Yeah. Nice try.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, okay. So I always like to ask like a funny question, right? So if you could be, being you're such an animal person, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Like a spirit animal.
Yeah.
Maybe like a cat, but like not a house cat. Like maybe, what's a stupid cat? Like
Grumpy Cat?
Maybe not Grumpy Cat. Like, okay, so imagine there's like a black cat. Okay. Like it's all black except for it has a white tip on its tail because it doesn't want to be too dark.
Right.
And it probably has like 8 toes. That would be me. And maybe pants a little bit. Like
pants.
Yep.
That's amazing.
You have to be like I want it to be sleek and pretty, but then like also really strange because that's me. Like I feel like I put myself
like
together,
zigzag, like a white.
Yeah,
you know,
like maybe a lightning bolt.
Yeah,
like Harry Potter, but a cat.
See,
I'm down. But like I feel like I clean up pretty good, but also like if you saw me at the grocery store, you'd be like, ew. Especially with all the stuff I'd be putting in my cart, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how many cans of sardines does this woman eat? Like.
Are you into fish? Like, is that like something you really like?
I just like food.
You're just a foodie all around.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. What's your favorite food?
Maybe sushi and steak. Oh, steak. I don't even like. No desserts. Steak, not cake.
Wow.
I don't eat any desserts. I'll have like a bite of somebody else's dessert, and then I'm like, wow, that's enough for the whole year.
Wow.
I just nothing sweet. I like steak, sushi, bread, pasta, pizza.
Oh, yeah. Pizza's the best.
Ooh, caprese salad.
Oh, that's the best too.
That's my favorite. Oh. I make a good caprese salad. It's really easy though. You just chop shit up and then.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What's you said you had a song coming out, so
I have one, Frisky's out right now, and then we're working on putting a music video together for that, and then I'm probably just gonna keep releasing singles because I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's really releasing a full-length album, and I feel like each song that I write and share is equally as important to me. Yeah. And I wouldn't want to just kind of cram them all onto an album because I love them all. Yeah. They're like my children.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'll do, is do that for a while and just do like, here's a song and a video and another one.
Do you like doing videos?
I've only ever done really one, so I don't know, we'll find out.
Yeah, I feel like, I think I've only seen the one.
Yep, Just Don't Speak.
Yeah,
that's the only video. Yeah. I did I made some really stupid videos, like for lyric videos for some other songs, but that's about it.
If you could do like a video for any of your songs, what would be like a dream video? Like who would you want in it? Or
we should do a Drink Drink Drunk video.
I really feel like that song needs one.
Yes, a Drink Drink Drunk video in a bar, or maybe not. Maybe just lots of different places. But yeah. I would want like just a total lineup of country singers wasted in the video. I think that would be hilarious.
That would be amazing.
Just like falling over and like everybody's getting drunk, and it would be great. I think that would be awesome.
Who are some of your favorites you'd want in it?
Well, obviously Miranda Lambert. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We got to get Blake Shelton in there too, just so they can fight.
Right.
Just like drunken fight.
Right.
We'll bring Miranda Lambert's
they're in like
new
the corner.
husband. Yeah, they're just squabbling in the corner, like. Oh, and then I feel like maybe Luke Combs should be there with a big thing of nachos.
Yeah.
I would love that. And like beer. That would be great. And everybody's I met Eric Pasley. He's very tall, like very, very tall. So maybe he should dress as Slenderman and just stand in the corner. I think that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Just like people being weird while they're drunk, you know, like falling over. And
Well, I thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking some time out of your busy schedule, and
of course,
having
this
some
was
time
really
with
fun.
us. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.